In this video, I'm going to quickly cover how some things that can be used on the Graphical app by Vernier, and I'm going to highlight how you can enter data manually, some setup of the graph that's created, and some ways that we can analyze that graph. So we're going to just start with the Graphical app, so I'm going to search for that, and that's here. Okay, this is probably the first page that you will see. It's using your built-in sensors. You can see it's using my accelerometer that's there. If I start recording, it's going to record what my accelerometers are. That's not what I need for this type of setup, but that's just what's going to be displayed when you first get there. So I'm going to go ahead and stop that, and I'm going to do a manual entry. So if I select this Built-in Sensors button at the top left-hand corner, I can select manual entry, and that'll give me a table just like this. Now the first thing I'm going to want to do is probably to change the titles of what I have up here, where my X and Y are. If I click and hold, it gives me an option to change the column title. So for this first one, I want it to be in time, and I also want it to be the units to be in minutes. If I hit enter, we can see that that's adjusted there. If I click and hold on the Y again, I can change that column title, and I'm going to call this run 1, and I'm going to do it in centimeters. I'm going to also add a little bit more of a description here, and I'm going to call it let's call it a half-life decay. Okay, if I hit return, I'm going to get half-life decay. And so I'm going to want to collect some time. So I'm going to select a box, and I can then just enter whatever data I need. And you can see how those are going in there pretty simply. Okay, I'm just going to do that much. And then over here, I can also enter my data. And I'm going to make up some data for this case. Let's just adjust this a little. Okay, so I've now got some data that's in there. Let's say I've entered in all of my data. Also, if I need to add another column. This plus button up here will allow me to add that additional column. And again, if I want, I can hold that title and rename it if I need to. I'll just go ahead and do that now since I've already got it open. And I'm going to just call it half-life again. And I'm also going to put in my units. And that's there. Okay, and now let's say I've got all of my runs, all my data collection done, and I want to now look at some graphs. So if you look in the top right-hand corner, I've got that L shape with a squiggly line for that symbol for a graph. This will actually allow me to switch between panes. So if I select that, I can select to show 1 graph, 2 graphs, 3 graphs. I can also, this will be how I come back to add data later. I'm going to just select 1 graph, and it's going to show me those data points that I submitted. If I want to zoom out, I can just pinch, and it'll zoom out for me, and it auto scales. If I double click on a point, it will auto scale to all of the points that are there, and I can also expand my 2 fingers from pinching motion to zoom in and zoom out. Okay, we're going to continue on and look at a few other features. We've looked at manual entry and how to put that in, and we've got our graph and a few features here. A couple additional features, we may want to label some of the information that's here. So if we click this this information button in the bottom left-hand corner, that gives us the option to put in the graph title. So we can call this something like half-life experiment. And we can also at this point choose, I'm going to show you this again, we can choose to display just points, we can choose just lines, or just both.
and both will probably help us at this point. It's going to just connect our lines, and it's going to show us the points. We'll need that for some part of this experiment and analyzing this graph. So again, in this particular experiment, you'll then enter this data for each of your runs, and if we go back to the table right here, we can see that, and we can enter data again, and we'll have a total of 3 runs, and we will have that chance to just go through that. Again, if we need another column, which you will need, you'll need a total of 3. You can click the plus and click and hold on the title, and that will allow you to change the title name. That should be all that you need just to get started and exposed to how to run Graphical on the iPad.